A warm welcome back to your latest industry recap. Today there is developments around Airbus, making some history with their A321neo program, developments at Qantas as they gear up for the delivery of a new aircraft type, and finally coverage on American Airlines that are continuing with their own expansion efforts. But starting off with Airbus and the A321neo. Yes, that's right, the European plane maker has celebrated the completion and rolling out of their first A321neo, assembled in Toulouse, France. The first unit will be delivered to Pegasus Airlines, a Turkish carrier. The A321neo was completed specifically at one of the facilities at the Airbus HQ in Toulouse. You may be asking why this is such a big deal. Well, the European manufacturer made a big decision some time ago that it would begin producing these A321neos in Toulouse in a final assembly hall. Ultimately, it was a move that followed quite a substantial amount of deliberation. In 2019, when Airbus was forced to announce the closure or upcoming closure of production for the A380 in the coming years, there were significant question marks left over how the plane maker would fill the massive gap left in Toulouse for the A380. In the end, Airbus concluded that the fast-selling A321neo series would move into the A380 space, where a FAL, or Final Assembly Line, would be inaugurated. According to a Reuters report, by 2026, the expectation was that 700 jobs would be created thanks to the new Final Assembly Line. Airbus has enjoyed already a lot of success with its A321neo variants, and that is very well predicted to continue. The plane maker has, in the market, secured orders and also attracted a lot of interest. The upcoming launch of namely the A321XLR provides another option for customers seeking to advance in their respective market, and Airbus adding the range to this variant really enhances the capabilities that are already present. The A321neo series, per analysts, presents a very excellent base for airlines to utilize worldwide. However, most would also go on to note that the lack of suitable competitor aircraft from Boeing has helped the European plane maker succeed with it. Current order data indicates that the A321neo series, spread across the multiple variants, has thousands of unfilled orders. As a result, Airbus will be diligently working through this backlog for a considerable period. Adding a new FAL should help the plane maker as it looks to seize more of the market and get these aircraft shipped off to customers in a timely manner. And the first unit emerging, that Pegasus Airlines A321neo, is fantastic for the company. Sticking with Airbus, but moving to Canada and also with Qantas, a bit of a weird combination, but hear me out. Qantas is, as you may be aware, preparing for delivery of the first A220, and their first unit has completed its maiden flight in the past couple of days. Registered as VHX4A, the aircraft is expected to be delivered in the coming weeks after the completion of further testing. This will be the first A220-300 for the Qantas Group, as a transition is made towards the next generation of narrow-body aircraft. The A220 departed from Airbus's critical production facility located just outside of downtown Montreal in the province of Quebec. During the almost 3-hour test flight, Airbus pilots carried out several standard checks aboard. This involved the thorough testing of the electric, navigation, and communication systems. Qantas also says there was a focus on flying at high and low altitudes to really determine if the systems were in working order. While this is not the first Airbus A220 that is being produced or even delivered to customers, these tests are absolutely essential. Once all these final tests are complete, which will take a little bit of time, the aircraft will make the trek down under, where it will be deployed towards specifically Qantas Link, which is the Qantas Group regional division. The aircraft will replace the aging Boeing 717s and look to substantially improve operations thanks to the enhanced capabilities over these previous generation planes. Towards mid-November, you may recall that the Australian carrier revealed that its first A220 would adorn a flying art scheme. The aircraft was named after the Two Sisters creation story. For the visual appearance of the A220, well, the scheme features strong tones of green, which is a shift away from the typical red that we are used to. Around 100 painters were involved in the massive effort to complete the livery, and Airbus says it worked with 130 stencils to replicate the detailed design required. The livery features over 20,000 dots and is at least what Airbus calls the most complex livery that they've worked on. For Qantas, this is now the 6th flying art scheme that has entered service. Additionally, it is part of the continued commitment that Qantas has to honouring the traditional landowners. A commitment to the A220 series was announced some time ago, and this was part of a substantial deal to move towards these newer planes. As I touched on before, the 717s are going as part of this next generation fleet inbound, and they've already begun saying goodbye to some of these 717s, but they'll stay around for just a little bit longer. Once the A220s are operational, they are slated to seat 137 passengers in a 2-class configuration that is made up with 10 business class seats and 127 in standard economy, as Qantas looks to meet a varying degree of traveller needs. This could include leisure or business journeys. On to the final story of today. That sits with American Airlines that have announced plans to offer a record schedule out of Dallas-Fort Worth next summer. Such an expansion will see new services commence. Additionally, there will be a boost in flying to currently existing locations to meet customer demand. A lot of this will be achieved thanks to a new daily service between Dallas and Redmond in Oregon. American says this will act as the 3rd non-stop destination in Oregon. However, flights elsewhere will also see increases. And on your screen now are some of the changes that you can expect to see just within the United States. Whether this is the upgauging of aircraft utilization, a new summer service, or potentially an increase in weekly or daily flights. While, like I mentioned, there'll be an expansion to key domestic markets, it doesn't stop just there. As they gear up for new international flights, we'll see a new daily flight originating in Dallas towards Barcelona. This will commence in June 2024. Meanwhile, just a couple of months earlier, in March, the airline will launch new twice-daily services towards Mexico as part of an expansion down south. On your screen now, though, are either the new services that will be introduced or the increases in flying to other specific destinations. Ultimately, American Airlines says a total of 55 non-stop international services from Dallas will be offered. These services will be spread across what they say is a whopping 26 countries. So no doubt Dallas will continue to be utilized as a very important and active hub on the American network. If you have any thoughts on the topics covered in today's video, whether that is around Airbus making history with their A321neo program, the Qantas A220, or the last story where I've taken a look at American Airlines, you can let me know down below in the comments. Until the next time, thanks a lot for your support. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope you are enjoying the holiday season thus far, and I'll see you tomorrow.